This video brought to you by the Study Hall, Tutoring and Educational Services.
Welcome to a special edition of the Press Box. I'm Mark Haskell with Courier Publications and Village Soup, and we're here on location at Camden Hills Regional High School today, chatting with 7 of the 8 senior members of the Camden Hills girls soccer team, which just beat Scarborough 1-0 in the state Class A girls soccer championships. We have to my left here, we have ELIZA Roy, KASSIE KRUL, Sarah SPIZZUOCO, and Ryan Hart. And to my right, we have Eve GUTHEINZ, Grace Blackwell, sorry Grace, and Izzy Lang. Ladies, thank you all very much for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Sorry to spring this on you. Are you guys all nervous?
No.
No, please don't be nervous. Please don't be nervous. This is going to be fun. We're just going to talk about all the accomplishments that the Windjammers have had over the past 3 years, specifically this season. The Windjammers went 19-0 in the regular season. They won their 3rd straight KVAC Class A championship, their 3rd straight regional championship, and their 3rd straight Class A state title. It's been an unbelievable run for these girls. In fact, Camden Hills, they're now 50-0-1 in their last 51 matches. Last loss is September 20th of 2016 against Bangor. Just to put that in perspective, you guys haven't lost a soccer game since Obama was still in office. So it's just something to think about. Like, you know, just longevity-wise, this is quite a run that you guys have been on. And the Windjammers, they've outscored opponents 119-10, shutouts in 14 of their 19 games, including a shutout win over the Red Storm in the state final. So I have several questions to ask all of you. But I guess the biggest one, obviously, I'd like to get all of your input on. Just give me your thoughts on winning your 3rd straight state Class A championship. I mean, this is the culmination of a full year of work, you know, from the first day of tryouts to the last day of the season where you guys are holding the gold ball. Let's go around the table and just tell me what an unbelievable feeling this has been for you guys.
I don't know. At the beginning of the tryouts, it kind of was this overbearing feeling that we can do it again because the team hasn't really changed much. We've lost a few players, but you know we still have our core group, and we got some really good freshmen coming in too. But I think that we worked really hard this season, and I think that the reward was just there, and winning state title for the 3rd year in a row was just really unbelievable.
Yeah. First year was really exciting for us. We weren't really expecting it. We were just happy to get there. And then our 2nd year, it was a big deal too. We had more pressure just to like get it done for the 2nd time. And then our 3rd time around, it was more like we didn't have pressure. We were just playing our last year, and just being able to come together as a team for our last senior year was really special for us to do.
It's just been an incredible experience to be a part of the team and just get to know these girls and be able to play with them. I think for this year, it was just more of us knowing that we wanted it and that we had the opportunity to go and get it and have another state title, and just knowing that we had the talent and the drive to do it. And I think that every time we stepped out on the field, we wanted to win, and we worked just as hard as every other team, and I think that showed in our record, and I'm just so proud of what the entire season and everything that we've accomplished.
Yeah, I think after winning 2 state championships in a row, like at the beginning of this season, all people were saying was, are you going to get the three-peat? Are you going to get the three-peat? And I think that we just played it game by game, like Coach said. And like Sarah said, we had the drive and the ability, and just that we were able to pull it together is just really special and a good way to end senior year.
I honestly can't say how proud I am of coming up with this core group of girls and knowing that we made a statement, and our first year we made Camden Hills history doing this, and it's so special to be a part of something like that.
I think it's pretty unbelievable how awesome our team has been in the past 4 years. We even made it to Northern Maine's our freshman year, and I just think that's awesome. And we made, like Izzy said, we made school history by winning the 1st state title, but we made 3 instead, so it's kind of legendary.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been crazy to be a part of this team. It's definitely been one of my favorite high school memories so far. And I don't know, like Cassie sort of said in the beginning, there was not a lot of, well, there wasn't much pressure at all. Our first year we made it. We were just excited to be there. And then the 2nd year, I think some people still considered us like the underdogs, even though we had won the previous year. But this year, I feel as though there was some sort of pressure on us by like the town and this like everyone, like we were sort of like this it team everyone was looking towards, and to be able to pull it off and win the third one has been really special. And like Spizz says, it wasn't luck at all. Like we put in the work and we had the skill level and everything to make it happen.
Putting in the work, that's something that you guys have definitely done quite a bit of over the last few years, and that's kind of leads into my next question, is that winning state championships is obviously, it's the dream of every team, you know, when tryouts come around, I mean, first practices of the year, regular season, you know, hopefully the playoffs, I mean, that's the end goal. Everybody wants a gold ball, but not everybody knows quite how hard you have to work individually and as a team to kind of make it happen. In a roundabout way, tell me, you know, what kind of dedication and hard work does it take to make a state championship like this happen?
Yeah, I can sort of speak towards that. I think at least majority of our team over the summer works hard. They're training. We have like our summer sessions and stuff, but even like on their own, people are running and working out and stuff. And we have a pretty intense preseason. This year was a little longer because school started later, which was nice for us. But I think one of the things that makes us as good as we are is that we're able to play against ourselves in practice. Like being able to be on defense against Christina, Eliza, Ella, and Cassie. Like they're the best in the state, so playing against them is only going to make us better. We're not going to see better than competition than that.
And obviously holding everybody accountable, which I'm sure is something like, you know, as a core senior group as you guys are, I'm guessing that's something that you guys all take pretty seriously. Like, and I'll be at the pitch, you know, with my kids, and I saw a couple of you, like a lot of you guys, and it was a Saturday. It was a Saturday at, you know, noon, and I was just like, what are they doing? And I could just see, you know, you and Kaylin, you know, over there, you know, doing your, like, you guys were on your backs and you guys were doing this crazy thing with your legs, and I'm just like, it's Saturday, what are they doing? But like, obviously that's the kind of effort and the kind of dedication and the kind of work that you guys need to put in to accomplish something like this. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah,
and like one thing that like our coach has always said, like experience is has been really big for our team for sure. We have 7 of us here, but 8 total that since freshman year have really wanted it since we first made varsity, and it's just been nice to start that and like throughout the years continue to develop that. And each year we try to bring our experience and try to reflect it from on each of our team. Sorry, having a moment. But it's nice to have a solid group here to be able to give our experience to the other to our team, because our team is able to see what we've accomplished in previous years, and they really want to do it again for the next few years. Now
that you guys are seniors, I mean, obviously, you know, a few years ago, you know, you guys were sophomores. Who were some of the seniors that you guys would look up to on those teams that kind of, you know, maybe set the bar for how high you guys are setting the bar for your teams this year?
Well, obviously Charlotte. Charlotte was like, I think, all of our big role models. She was, she controlled the midfield. She created things in the game. Like everyone looked up to her in what she accomplished, and especially our state championship game, she really pulled through, and she had a lot of pressure on her, and what she was able to do with that was amazing, and that's really what started it for us. Is we saw what she could do, and we didn't want it to end there. We wanted to continue to make history.
Yeah, I think that like all of the leadership that we've kind of come into the program with, like, have inspired us to work hard and push each other. And I think that now that we're in that leadership role, like, we've kind of taken over, and from all the examples that we've had in our past, like, it's helped us become better leaders and to push the younger people on the team as well.
Okay. So Southern Maine, obviously, a lot of times the Southern Maine teams, they seem to dominate a lot of the Northern Maine teams. A lot of that is, I feel like, you know, they have a lot more resources available to them, it seems, particularly when it comes to, you know, indoor practice facilities. So you guys have the pitch. I mean, it opened in 2014. I don't think it's any coincidence that the pitch landed here, and then, you know, all of a sudden, you know, this high level of soccer went to another level. Like, you know, how pivotal has having the pitch right here in your backyards, you know, been to your successes?
I think that the pitch has definitely pushed all of us to become better players and just like try our hardest. It was the first real time that I ever really played high-level soccer when I started at the pitch. I remember Tammy, who was my coach that year, coming to me after I went to an academy day and being like, I want you to join my girls' team. And it was the first year that they were doing it, and she was like, I think that you're our missing link for our defense. And at the time I had played midfield, and so I was like, oh, like I don't think I'm gonna be able to play defense, like I'm not very good at it. And she just completely turned my entire soccer career around. And and just like being at the pitch and being on the teams and doing all the activities that they have there definitely gave me the drive and made me want to become better. Just seeing the level that people were playing at the pitch, and I think it definitely benefited me being able to continue to play even when the season was over.
I can definitely say the same thing. Like, I started out playing at Black Bear when I was like 12. That was my first premier team. And when Cassie's parents moved here, they approached me and they're like, we really want you to come play with us. You know, like, we have the pitch now. We really want you to come join our team. And so I went home and was like, yeah, I guess I'll give it a try. And ever since then, like, I've been training with Tammy. I've been training with Dan. They broke all my bad habits. And I honestly can say, like, watching footage from when I played when I was, like, I don't know, 8th grade, playing in Bangor, then to hear, it's insane. It's just incredible, like the transformation. They truly, like the pitch and its staff and all the coaches and that team made me into who I am today.
I like really owe my like whole like defensive career to Cassie's mom. Without her, I wouldn't have been a defender, and I wouldn't have made varsity my freshman year. And I just owe it all to her. She thought that I would make like an amazing defender, and apparently she was right. But going off of Spizz, I didn't think I would be a good defender, and she just turned me around and like made me the player I am today. And I'm always so grateful. And playing with her like throughout the winter, I think just makes us like really strong players, because we have the entire like winter and spring like to get better and improve on what we can do better next season. So
you were an offensive player like Spizz was before all this happened?
I played forward in middle school and like Y team in Penn Bay. And I mean, like, I wasn't the best, but like, so, but like, I definitely owe like my soccer career to Tammy, because she made me the player I am today.
I think I can talk a little about what you're saying about like the Southern teams having more resources and stuff, but until the pitch came here, I feel like we were, like our age group was sort of like the first team to have like that premier team at that high level, and ever since then, I think that's why the team's just getting better and better. Like younger kids are seeing the success that we're having, and a lot more kids are going out and playing soccer year round in the Mid-Coast, which hasn't happened until about our year, I think, and that's definitely making the change in the community, and so I can think that the soccer program's gonna, like the strength is gonna continue on for a long time, and it's gonna sort of equal out with like the South, I believe, at least in our area.
Well, I was talking to Meredith after you guys won, and one of the things that she said was the coolest thing about winning the state championship is that it's encouraging more girls to come out and play. Mm-hmm. And you know, so have you guys seen? I mean, you know, you guys have won 3 state championships. I mean, there are probably girls that are playing Penn Bay soccer, younger girls. You know, maybe they're in Camden Rockport Middle School, or just younger girls, and they're just looking up at you and they're just like, wow, I want to do that. I mean, are you guys getting some of that from a lot of the girls in the community, and you guys are kind of like becoming role models a little bit?
Yeah, I can sort of speak to that. I think 2 years ago, Erin Dowd, my sister IZZY GUTHEINZ, and we went to the elementary school and like coach like the girls there for some of their recesses, and walking out onto recess, I've never felt more like a celebrity than I did there. They were screaming and running at us. It was insane just like see the impact that we're having on those kids' lives. And I think when we get to like walk out with them during homecoming and stuff, like it's so much fun to do that. And I've had girls like ask for all of our signatures before. Yeah. It's definitely crazy, and it's awesome to see that impact that we're having.
This was like it was 2 days before the state game, and I had just gotten like feeling better, and I went to the pitch, and Coach Dan was there with his group of little goalies, and he was like, Izzy, come over here, come help me coach. So I went over, and he was introducing me, and he's like, does anybody know who this is? And 3 little girls raised their hands, and they're like, we know who you are. And they listed off like my stats for the last 2 years, and they said they'd come watch me play Premier Soccer. It was just like such a special feeling to know that like little girls like are looking up to me, like that are wanting to play my position. It was just like such an amazing feeling.
Also, like a few of us will go on Saturdays to True Park, and with the really little kids, and there's boys and girls, and some of the boys teams come too, and I think that's really cool to see how it's starting at such a young age, and how they have like kind of role models to look up to, and that for me has been a really cool experience, because like my little brother does it too, and like seeing him play, and just all the youth and like in our community, and the possibilities of the skill that can happen.
And that also brings up a good point. It's kind of cool to see how like we've kind of developed over the years. Like when we were their age, we had like a passion for a lot of things, not just soccer, and more sports, and other things. And then to actually, as you get older, you actually start to develop like your true passions in life, and that's what kind of happened with us. We all kind of clicked with that sport, and we all put in the time together, and we put in the work that you said to get where we are. So it's just nice to see how we've developed over the years, and hopefully kids like that we've been seeing come to support us do the same thing.
You guys, obviously you had your regional championship game against Messalonsky, and you guys found yourself, the Windjammers found themselves in uncharted waters. I'm sorry. So you guys were down a goal in the second half, and I believe that was the only time that had happened all year long. Obviously, you guys, rose to the occasion and you responded to the pressure, but what was that feeling like in that moment? Like, are you guys panicking? I mean, like, what was going through your minds in the second half of that game?
So I was in when they scored both of their goals, and then shortly after that got taken out because coach just wanted to talk to me, and I just remember coming off the sideline and just immediately giving her a look and being like, I have more anxiety right now than I ever have had at school. And Lexi Hydorn was standing next to me, and just the whole time, just both of us were just looking at each other like, this cannot be happening. Like, this is not how we play. This is not what happens. Like, I was just like, this is the craziest thing that's ever happened. And after ELIZA scored that third goal, and then they responded very shortly after with the other third goal, and I was just like, I can't believe that this is our game right now. Like, this is the most high intense game that we've ever played, and I think that it really showed that our team came out and we kept playing and we kept pushing. That coach had told us that it's still our game. Like, we still have the ability to win this game, and I think that really showed with right down into the last 2 minutes, we scored that final goal, and so I think that really showed in our team that we had the resilience and the perseverance to push through and keep playing even when we were down by 1.
Just, being the goalie and the one that had the goal scored on, I really wasn't super panicked. Being a goalie, you have to have a short memory. You can't dwell on the last goal that was scored on you, because then you're just going to keep more goals are just going to keep happening. You're going to keep making mistakes. You have to stay sharp. You have to stay focused. You have to be, like, in the moment that second and, like, with your team and supporting your team so that they know that, like, I have their backs. And that was all that was going through my head was, like, just we have to get this done. The goals don't matter. We're going to catch up. We can do this. And it was just, like, keeping that short memory that, like, I was able to, like, talk to the defense and just keep sharp so that nothing else bad would happen. There'd be no more mistakes.
And also, like, in that game, there was a lot of, like, scoring happening. Yeah. So, and especially after we had gotten a goal, as soon as we got a goal, they got a goal, like, the next, like, minute, and it kind of threw us off. But what we've come to realize over the years in really tight games is that once you have one goal, once you get scored on, that's that. Like, you can't take away a goal. And it's what you do after that really makes us who we are, and just how we came together, and because we realized, wow, like Spizz said, this is happening. Is this really happening? We just weren't expecting it. So, yeah, just the ability to keep going.
I also think that game, like, really showed how, like, good we are skill-wise, because a lot of people have things to say that we really, like, don't put in the work, and it's, like, just our name, and we don't, like, I don't know, try, I guess.
It would always be, like, tested.
Yeah, and I think that game just really showed, like, how good we are. And it was honestly really fun to like have a game that close, because like during the regular season we don't have games like that. We only have like one or two, and it was just really fun to like show people like how good we are and what we can do.
Yeah, responding to adversity is obviously a big part of winning state championships. You guys obviously don't see a lot of that during the regular season, as you said, but my next question is, you know, a lot's been made of how close you guys kind of all are on the field and off the field. How much does that kind of help you guys in terms of predicting each other's moves and each other's tendencies? Like a lot of times, maybe ELIZA knows that Cassie's going to be in a spot before Kassie even knows that she's going to be in that spot, and things like that. Or or there's an offensive player making a break, and and Grace knows that Sarah's going to overlap, and it just seems like you guys are playing chess and everybody else is playing checkers. Like what is that? How much of that is how well you guys know each other?
Yeah, I think that definitely throughout the years, our team has gotten really, really close. I think we have really great chemistry and we blend really well, especially since a lot of us play year-round with each other, and I think that we really just understand each other's styles and how we like to play. Like, but still, it still awes me, some of the things that the offense does. I'm still awestruck by it. Even though I know that they're that good, I still am completely surprised when something crazy happens and they score a goal. But I think that our chemistry has definitely brought us to the level of being able to understand when each other are tired, and we know that maybe not doing a long ball for that person because we know that they don't really have the energy for it, and knowing that their tendencies to go one way versus the other in order to be able to help each other to make those plays that will ultimately score goals. I think that one thing that I've known and learned from defense is how to read some of the offenders. I know that in practice, when we do one-on-ones on defense, when we play against Kassie, there's a little toe touch that she does. And we all know it's going to happen, and it still fools us every single time, even though we always know it's going to happen. And so I think that it's just little things like that, like knowing each other's moves, but still having the ability to compete really well against each other and as a team is really important.
Personally, for me, I mean, Izzy was not from Camden Middle School either, but I went to Ashwood at middle school, and they didn't have a soccer team because they didn't have sports teams, but I was able to come and play on the middle school team, and just like I remember like at first just feeling really nervous and being like, oh no, like I don't know anyone, like what is it going to be like? And I just remember like as soon as I like met these girls and became part of their team, like I just felt this chemistry that I was like, these girls aren't just teammates, they're also like such good friends. And just carrying that through high school, it's just like, we're not just a team, we're a family. And I think that coach has also emphasized that, is that like, we're playing with each other and we're so supportive and so like understanding of each other that I think it's just like, some other teams don't have what we have in that sense, and just the fact that we like know where certain players are going to be, like if like Kassie knows where ELIZA's going to make a run or whatever, and just having that closeness with each other I think is just like really special and something that sets us apart from other teams.
I think also like something so special about us is that everyone's so positive. Like if you make a mistake, like I know sometimes in the past on a team, like say I'm playing hockey or something, if I make a mistake I'll feel really bad about it or something, but I think on this team, like if you do make a mistake or do something wrong, everyone is so uplifting, and they're like, next time you got it, like you can do this next time. If you, they'll give you some maybe constructive criticism also to help you for your next try. And I think that too has like Ryan was saying, like our bond is so strong that we feel comfortable saying that to each other, and I think that's cool.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Actually, why don't you pass that down to Ryan, because I have a question for her. Well, 6 of the 8 of you, well, obviously one's not here, but you guys are starters. So this is directed to Ryan and to Grace as well. As bench players, how is your role different than everyone else's? I guess like the roles you play, maybe helping each other to prepare in practices, being positive on the sidelines. Obviously you're not getting the kind of run on the field that the other 6 are. What has that been like for you, and what do you think your role is on the team?
I am one of the players, I suppose, on this team that like I personally don't do soccer year round. Like I also do lacrosse and I ski in the winter, so it wasn't like I had the same, like I wouldn't say resources, but like it wasn't as much like the only thing that I did, but it's like, I feel like it's not just about starting for me. Like I said, like as soon as I came on the team, it was more just that I could play with these girls, and like the fact that I did love soccer and that I can, you know, practice with them, and when I do go out there that they'll support me and they'll help me get better, and that like even if I'm not starting, that like I'm still a part of the team, and just like feeling that support from everyone. And I think that Grace feels the same way, at least like I can't speak for her, but I would say that it's still like important for even people who aren't starting to like keep up that team morale and like be cheering from the bench and then go in and, you know, help people out and, you know, play with the team. So
definitely. This is a question for Izzy. You know, obviously you're a terrific goalie. You know, you had a bunch of standout saves in the state championship, including a diving stop in the first 5 minutes or so, which I saw. But often you don't really have a lot to do back there, which is kind of a credit to this great defense that you guys have in front of you. Is that hard? Is it perhaps not being challenged? You know, kind of sitting back there and maybe being bored a lot of the time. I mean, how does that affect you? I'm just like trying to think. By that I mean, you know, say you're getting ready to play a team that you think you're going to win by like 10 goals. You know what I mean? Like, is it hard? Like, is it hard to, you know, get up and prepare? You know, just tell me how difficult that can be, I guess. You know, trying to get up to like, you know, oh, I'm going to see a bunch of saves, and you're like, nobody even kicked a shot at me.
It's definitely a little bit challenging. Teams we beat, like, I think we had a game that was like 13-0. I don't know. I think warming up definitely helps. You know, I get a lot of energy out then, and I keep myself engaged. I pace a lot. I don't know if any of you have noticed that. I walk around the 18 a lot. But it's just if I can follow the ball and kind of like stay connected with what my defense is doing and like the defensive mids, I can stay in the game and be ready for something if somebody were to take a random shot when we're up that much. But it can definitely get a little boring, I'm not going to lie.
I mean, it just seems like you could be doing pirouettes back there and just be thinking like, you know, what am I going to do after the game? Pizza sounds good. I mean, you could just, like, it just seems like you're very bored back there a lot of the times.
I find if I let myself get distracted and I notice like, oh, the ball's back in my 18, I just won't be prepared and I'm more likely to make a mistake. So I just keep pacing and following what the defense is doing and making sure they're shifting.
Okay, so raise your hand if you were on the team that lost to Bangor in the regional final 4 years ago. Okay, all right, no, I just making sure. So obviously they came back, and that was a hellish. I think they scored in like the last 30 seconds to win that game. Like they say, yeah, I remember that vividly. Thanks for bringing it up. Yep. You know, how much did that loss fuel you and help kind of kickstart with this dynasty? I mean, I think we can call it a dynasty at this point. I mean, like, how much did that loss fuel you guys and kind of kickstart this dynasty that it's become?
I can say personally, the day after that game, I had gotten private sessions to do goalie training, and I did that at least 6 days a week, every day until the next soccer season, because I didn't want to have to feel lost like that again. And I wanted to be ready, and I wanted to improve so much that I didn't want to have my name in the paper and have it be that we lost and I'd been scored on again in a big game in the last few seconds. It was just like a huge change in my game for me. Like, I really needed that to be the player that I am.
I didn't write that story. Don't make such hard eye contact with me when you said that. What was that about?
Yeah, and I, speaking to what Izzy said, I know you must have felt a tremendous amount of pressure after that game. But like Yana, we had Yana Speaker. She was a phenomenal goalie, and unfortunately she did get injured. But and like Izzy hadn't been playing a single varsity game the whole year. Okay, 2, but those were against teams that we were, again, like winning 10-0. So Izzy didn't have much experience going into that really high-pressure game. So personally, and I think our whole team felt really bad about that because it wasn't just Izzy's fault. Like, it was a very intense game, and Bangor was really good that year, and the first game we faced them was difficult for us, and each time we play them, Bangor became our rival, like, since that year, because we've always wanted to beat them and not let that happen again. So, I mean, it really showed us how, like, every single person on our team is really important. It's not just the goalie, it's not just whoever scores the goals or stops the goals, like, everyone comes together, and in any second it can change, so.
Of course, obviously, you guys got Bangor back the next year. That was the regional championship where you guys scored 2 goals in like the last 5 minutes up there and got them. That's right. And that was you scored one of those? Was it who?
Chris and Izzy.
Chris and Izzy. Okay, that's right. So do any of these last 3 state championships, do any of them stick out to you as more special? And why? I guess I'll ask each of you guys that question, because each of you were on at least multiple state championship teams. Which one of these, was it the first one? Was it the most recent one where it was seniors? Was it the high scoring one in the middle? Like, what one would you say was the most memorable for you?
I don't know, that's tough. Most memorable? I think the most like exciting one was the first, just because it was the first, and it's like you've never felt a feeling that great before.
Overtime.
Right.
Yeah.
And over time you're like, oh, okay. Like, I mean, it was still amazing. I think this last year too was really special just because it was our senior year and going out, like, making our mark kind of, and also like, I don't know, just senior year. Like, we couldn't have done anything more, just having that feeling of we did it all. So yeah, that was really special too.
I mean, I don't really have a preferred like year because, I mean, sophomore year was kind of like a shock for us, I think, because it was an overtime and we were the underdogs. We weren't really expecting a big win. We were just amazed to be there in the first place. And to actually pull it off was just shocking for us in a good way. And we were kind of just, it wasn't really like our team yet until like the next year when we made it our team. We made it like we were leading the team. We were juniors, so we were the upperclassmen. And having that experience last year, we really got to, you know, try to continue that, building that. And then, of course, senior year, like Eliza said, was probably, or definitely the best one because of just ending the way we want it to be.
You're trying to underscore the fact that you scored 2 goals in the second state championship? I see what you're doing.
Yes. Yeah, that was unexpected too, but yeah, senior year, it was just nice to be able to do it again because I felt a lot of pressure going into my last year too, but to be able to do it just kind of topped the cake.
I think all of them are unique and special in their own way, but for me, definitely the second one. I didn't play in the first state game. I wasn't on the team. I was only brought up. I was on JV my sophomore year, so I wasn't actually able to play. So being a junior and being able to start that game and play that whole game and actually be a team and field player that made an impact, that maybe saved a shot or made a great tackle, and just like being able to feel like I really actually like contributed to the win just made it that much sweeter. And being able to put everything out there. I've been told by so many people that it's the best game they've ever seen me play. So just being able to put everything out there was definitely made it the sweetest out of the 3.
I think it's a tough question. I think like what Eliza and Cassie have said, it's like the first one was kind of a shock to all of us and just like a wake-up call that like we could get to that place, we could do it. And I think that like even the second one, like the fact that we did it again was so surprising and just showed that like the program was still strong. It wasn't just that year that like we had the strong enough players to do it and the skill. And I mean, I think that this last year, it was more of just like, we knew that we could do it. We knew that we still had just as strong of a team, and it was just a matter of like how much we wanted it. And because it was our senior year, I think that that was one of the reasons why it was so special and why we really did make it happen game by game.
I think definitely my favorite was our first one, going into overtime, and I remember standing there and coaches like talking to everybody and going to overtime. My mind was just totally blank. I was like, I'm gonna have to step into overtime right now. And I was just like really nervous. But like obviously coming out on top of that was like the most amazing feeling ever. but having our last one where we're all seniors and we did it together and having a shutout, that was like one of my dreams, is to have a shutout at a state game. So those two are definitely my favorites.
I was going to say the same thing.
You still have answered.
Yeah. I definitely say that the first state game was by far my favorite because my sister was on the team with me. She didn't play, but like just having her there was like the most like amazing feeling. Like I got to do it with my sister, and going into overtime, like Izzy said, was just like an indescribable feeling of like we can do this. Like we just need to get that one goal, and I think every year had its like own like special feeling to it, and this year definitely being seniors and coming out on top and really just leaving our mark as a 3-time state champions.
Yeah, I would say that this past year was the most important for me, moving into a new position where I could make like the biggest impact on the team. I had played forward for freshman, sophomore, and junior year, and I saw like some parts of the state games, but I didn't get to like make my full impact, I guess, and playing defense in the last game for the full 80 minutes was definitely made it the most special for me. Our defense this whole year has been working really hard to like stay tight and stay connected and stuff, and sometimes we're overlooked. I mean, obviously the offense is amazing and should get so much credit, but I think this year when the defense really stepped up really big in the state game, that's what made it really special for me. And yeah, just being a part of it.
Having watched all 3 of those state games, the first one to me, not that you guys asked me the question, but I'm going to tell you. The first one to me sticks out the most for 2 reasons. Number one, Charlotte's goal, because it came off that corner and she almost like, karate kicked it over the goalie and into the net, and it was just this beautiful, like, did that go in? Oh my God. And then earlier in that overtime, and Zach was there too, was we saw, I think you would come off your line, and the Gorham girl fired a shot from deep, and Cameron Langell came out of nowhere and saved that game, because that was, that ball was going in, and it was just like, and she dove and got a leg on it, and as soon as she made that stop, I said to Zach, I said, they're gonna win. You know what I mean? And a couple minutes later, it happened, and it was just, it was because you guys, those 2 teams were very closely matched. I feel like this last year, and maybe you guys, I'll ask you guys, this last win, excuse me, obviously it was a 1-0 game, but it didn't seem like the game was ever really in doubt. You guys scored. I don't think anybody, they had a couple decent chances on goal, but it seemed like you guys scored early, and it was just a matter of time until the clock ran out.
And I noticed that too. First half, we had an early goal, which was nice. And then I didn't really, I found myself kind of watching the game, in the second half, because I wasn't, it just seemed like I was dreaming. I don't know. But then when I watched, the highlights tape, I was like, wow, we were dominating that second half. We were shooting a lot. We had a lot of shots, not just regular ones, but they were, close to going in.
If Christina was playing 3-bar, you guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The goalie really stepped up, and she was their lifesaver in that second half. But it's too bad that they couldn't, get a goal. But luckily for us, but it was nice to have that first goal, and nice to continue our momentum after having tight games, knowing that we could very well easily get another goal scored on us and be a tight game like last year. I think for me and the defense, it was kind of nice having 2 new center backs. I usually play center back, so I got to play wing back this year, which I was really excited about. And at the beginning of the season, defense was kind of rocky, and we kind of knew that. It was a little bit of a struggle, and we had a lot of work to do and getting to be tight. And in that state game, our back line, I've never been more proud of our back line. We just didn't let anything through, and we just had the goal of just not letting any of their strikers get past us, and we didn't really ever give them the chance to really shoot on Izzy, which is good for both us and for Izzy. And so I just think that both the offense and the defense both played at the same level, and that's like why we had so much possession, is that even when they did have the ball, there wasn't anyone who wasn't working twice as hard as them to go get the ball back. And so I think that we really won in the mindset that we weren't going to let them even try to get the ball for the entire game. So I think that's especially at the end. Yeah, especially at the end.
Do we think, obviously this is your last game, you guys have all played your last game, but obviously there's a lot of talented players still on this team. Is a 4th state title in the cards for these girls, do you think?
Yeah, I think it definitely is. Obviously all of us graduating is a huge loss, but they still have Kaylin, Ella, Chris, which are 3 powerhouses on the field, and Tessa could be leading the defense next year. And there's plenty of girls, our bench is pretty deep, that could go on and take the field and be confident. We have a lot of depth in the defense as well. I definitely think that they have the heart and the drive to go get that 4th state title, especially the girls who have been on varsity since their freshman year. I can't imagine Christina losing a game her senior year. I don't think she'll let it happen. I don't think she will.
So how does it feel? I'm not trying to get anybody emotional or upset or anything like that, but how does it feel that you guys have played your last game together, you know, as a unit for Camden Hills, you know, winning a state championship? Obviously, that's the way you want to walk off and be done. But you know, what are your feelings on you know, this kind of ending?
I don't know. It doesn't really feel real to me. Like when we were playing the state game, I kind of was thinking to myself, like, is this actually the last game with these girls? And obviously, like, it's real, but it still doesn't feel like that. Like, I feel like I'm just gonna step onto the field next year and be playing with them. But it's really sad to think about that. We'll all be going our separate ways. But I think that the mark we left and everything we did together was amazing. So it's like bittersweet at the same time.
It's very weird not having practice like every day and seeing all of our teammates, because it really made our days that much better, just being able to be with each other at least 2 hours a day. And it's like Eliza said, it's nice to just have those memories that we did make and just look back on what we did accomplish together.
I think for me it's going to be very bittersweet. I'm not planning on playing soccer in college, so this is the last game that I'll ever play. And soccer's been a huge part of my life since I was a little kid and I could basically run around and kick a ball. So leaving the girls that I've been playing with since I moved to the Camden School District is definitely going to be, like, I'm going to be leaving with a heavy heart because they've definitely become some of my closest friends, and I've just loved all the memories and the laughs that we've had on the field together. Some of my best memories from high school have been made on the field. And so I think that it's going to be hard to let that go for both myself and for the other girls who I've been playing with. So for sure, it's definitely going to be a memorable and sad moment for me when our season's really officially done.
I'm definitely, I'm sad. I'm sad that now I've been playing with these girls for years and years. But I'm also really happy knowing that they've prepared me for going and playing college soccer, and that I know that no matter what other teams throw at me, I will have had the best competition the last few years. So I know I'm going to be well prepared for what I'm walking into in my next few years.
Okay. All right. Well, I'd like to thank all of you guys for giving us a few minutes here today and talking about all your previous accomplishments, and I wish all of you guys nothing but luck for winter sports, spring sports, you know, whatever the next door is going to be opening up for all of you guys. I wish you guys all the best of luck. So,
thank you so much.
Yeah.